Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron might join us later. We'll see.
We'll see.
If he can get the young'uns down to bed in time. On tonight's episode of the Brewtiful Game, Manchester is red as a new interim manager bounce and former club legend Michael Carrick leads his Reds to a big win over the noisy neighbors. Then Oliver Glasner had a press conference for the ages where he kind of pulled an Amaron, and we'll see what's happening there.
And a Maresca, too.
Yep, a little bit of Maresca, yep. Then we're going to round out the rest of Premier League Actione from the past week in our 2-minute drill. And then we'll blow the halftime whistle as the happy harp and Celt goer of the Derby, and the celebrated with the Orlando Reds and Phil Ferris. As we do this once again, halftime segment of We Just Made This on the Fly. Have you seen that news yet? As Ferris shares with us some crazy news from the Athletic today. And finally, we'll close out the pod, checking in the Champions League and talking about a little about the crazy AFCON final from the week's second segment in our La Liga's roundup. Or Champions.
Champions.
But first,
the voice is a little groggy. I'm gonna have to work on that for when we get there.
we're not warmed up yet. Our beer. I'm super excited for our beer. My beer.
Yeah.
I may be doubling up something, but I don't care because it's one of those that every year you want to try how it is. If we did do this, it's been a while. But I'm going back to Eyinger Brewery out in Munich, Germany. I like their website. A very warm welcome to Eying in our beautiful, cozy village located in the heart of Upper Bavaria. Only 30 minute drive from either the Munich city center or the Alps. The Bavarian brewery culture and hospitality is maintained by our family in the 7th generation. The Eyinger Brewery, known for more than 150 years for excellent beer specialties, is one of the most renowned breweries in Europe. Enjoy our famous beer specialties, all brewed according to the purity law of 1506, freshly tapped in the Eyinger Braustäberl, or however you pronounce that, a traditional Bavarian beer hall right here in the middle of the village. In the village center, directly opposite the Braustäberl, is our Hotel of Eying. 48 lovingly furnished rooms with a 4-star superior court category are available to you. In our restaurant, we serve Bavarian cuisine at the highest level, and our individual function room is excellent to celebrate and meet. Whatever you'd like to do in Eying and our unique ensemble, you can enjoy the traditional, authentic Bavarian way of life. We look forward to your visit. Yours sincerely, the Enselkammer family. I mean, I just want to go.
Sounds lovely and warm and welcoming.
Let's just go. I just want to travel and go stay at that hotel. So I am going with a classic, a beer that is a dominant malty taste. Origins of a monk's recipe are reflected in its heartiness. The Pope of Beers, Conrad Seidel describes it as almost black with a very slight red tone, a sensational festive foam, and truly extraordinary fragrance that at first summons up visions of Greaves lard. The first taste is of a mild fullness with an accompanying coffee tone, which becomes more dominant with the aftertaste. There's very little of the sweetness that is frequently to be tasted with Doppelbock beer. The Eyinger Celebrator has been ranked among the best beers of the world by the Chicago Tribune Institute several times and has won numerous medals. So this is a classic one, the Celebrator with the
had that on the pod before,
the Rams. But it has been a while. This is their finest Bavarian Doppelbock. And I don't know, just sitting there in the back of that bottle shop, and it demanded to be had. So it's gonna be had.
If I'm not mistaken, we've had it because there was it usually comes with like a little deer ornament or something.
The ram. If you get the 4-pack,
the ram, yeah.
It's got the little. Sometimes I have the little plastic like thing.
Yeah.
And since both our clubs have better news or have had good news this week, I figured it's double the red, so it's a super dark red beer.
Love where your head's
at.
Love where your head's at. I wish I had a red. I don't. I have an IPA and a lager. I'm thinking of going the IPA. The IPA. I haven't had either of them. Both are from Canada.
Well, here what you do this is you have the lager. Because then if you decide you want a second one, you get the IPA, but the IPA won't ruin the taste of the lager if you have the lager first.
Love where your head's at. Let's do it.
Boom. That's 2 good ideas right off the bat. I'm going to be on fire this podcast.
From Canada, as I just said, courtesy of Ron's wife and our friend. She was up there a little bit before the holiday season with one of their kids, and was kind enough to bring back some beer as a Christmas gift.
I love you made it sound like they were the Waltons and had 12 children. You're like, one of their kids. I don't know which one.
One of the kids. It was the little lass that I think she took up there, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I brought up one of the breweries. Both are out of Cambridge, though, from the beers I'm gonna have. This is one that I have not had from. I have not heard of this brewery, nor have I been to it. I've been to a few up there with them, but I have not been to this one. I had heard of this one, but it's a good choice, Blake, because it does fit the the can art does have a little red in it, and Excellent. It is called Holler Lager, and it is from.
I'm just going to point out that sorry, it's Holler Lager. It is a thin red line at the top and bottom, and the logo is written in red with a cream color. That, my God, your can looks like the Highbury Arsenal kit this year so much.
It does. Actually, it's because like we both have red. I want to say like the Manchester red is a little bit more bright and deep.
Yeah.
Where the Arsenal red at times can be a little bit more muted and more a hint of maroonish. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and they've definitely flip-flopped back and forth if you go look at the kits in the last like 20, 30 years. Yeah.
Sure. But anyways,
the old Puma kit was a very bright red, if you remember that one. Back in the old so tight you could see the nipples days. Yeah.
Oh, the nipple days are the best. The farmleaguebrewing.com. It asked me if I was 19 or plus. I said yes, so that's a good thing. All right, so it's a 4.8% lager. Pilsner malt and corn, flaked corn, not to be confused with cornflakes. This crispy crusher will go down smooth and fast, golden, clear, and refreshing. It's a perfect lager for cutting the grass, going to a baseball game, or sitting on the dock. Crack one, lean back, and enjoy. Holler for a holler. 4.8%. This comes in a 473 milliliter can. I got a single here, and it goes for $3.35 a can, Canadian. So again, farmleaguebrewing.com out of Cambridge, Ontario, I believe. So thank you, Becky, for bringing this back. Greatly appreciate it. I'm looking forward to having a nice crisp lager.
Well, on that note, shall we crack these bad boys open?
Why not? I don't, it says crack one, lean back, and enjoy. I might just crack and just do it out of the can.
I mean, if it's, oh my gosh, this thing is so red, Ferris. I mean, I say red, but it is a dark, deep ruby red. It looks like a cherry cola color almost when you're pouring it. And then look how dark this Doppelbock is, man. I mean, almost, it's hard to say with the light, but it's hard to tell that the red's come through, but man, that's a dark red. Ooh. Sure. Ooh, doggy. I'm excited.
I have 1,000 freaking koozies. Not one near my desk.
Well, that's always the way.
I know. Anyways, all right.
All right, good sir.
Cheers, my friend. Manchester is red. We took down Man City for you a lot.
Cheers. I was very much a Devils fan that day. Thank you.
Oh,
man, see, you know what's funny? I used to say I didn't like Doppelbocks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember getting this beer and just not digging it. I think my taste in beers has changed as I've gotten older. Because I did not like this malty beer kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. But damn, this is awesome. And I absolutely love this. And I guess I've had some that are too sticky sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Too bready. But this is amazing. But I remember this is one that I didn't care for as much. It's another reason I wanted to get it because I'm like, it's so famous. It's
You want to give it another go at it. Yeah.
It's been years since I've had it, and I do think my tastes have changed because this is awesome.
Oh, 100%. This lager, just crack it, boom, lean back, enjoy. This is, it I don't know what the color is. I would assume it's that exactly that golden kind of lager color. But we talk lager, 4.8%. This couldn't taste any better. Like this is just absolutely smooth and like just a great light tasting full lager.
Good. That sounds good.
Not I don't know. Not like a Budweiser or something like that. If not that having a Bud's the wrong thing, but it's a little bit more fuller, crisper, and flavorful than something like that, right? It's kind of what you want from a craft brewed lager, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It's like those craft Mexican lagers now.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit different feel than what a Pacifico or a Modelo or something like that is. Good lagers, good at the times, when you're having them, where you're at, the situation that you're at. But there's just something different about kind of a craft, homemade, if you will, lager. That's not an easy style to always do.
So. No, it's another thing as I got older I liked is like, because especially brewing the beer, and you learn like, man, making a lager, like a good one, a crisp Pilsner style lager, something is really hard to do.
Yeah.
The simpler, the better. The simpler, like the harder to make it a good, clean, simple, because the balance has to be just right. Man, this Doppelbock though, I don't know what was wrong with me, but this is one of the best beers I've ever had.
Called time, my friend, just time.
It doesn't hurt that it's like hold on a second there, Ferris. Let me just double check as I sit here in Pennsylvania, and we are recording on January 21st. So, the great polar vortex or whatever that's about to happen to us all.
Good
oh yeah.
luck.
Oh, hey, it feels like 20 degrees outside. That is an improvement because it was 8 yesterday.
Oh,
I cracked
like a single 8.
Yeah. I'll drive to North Carolina this past week. I cracked my windshield 20 minutes from my destination. Something flies and hits my windshield. It's all good. I mean, it's a long crack. It looks like it grew a little bit, but it was all good. I come up to Pennsylvania. I've got an appointment on Tuesday. I leave work Tuesday at noon. The wind chill has got it down to 11 degrees. As I'm driving the 25 minutes to the Safe Light place, I'm literally driving and I hear this. And I just watch that crack grow and grow because it was so cold. I couldn't not cut the heated defrost on because I couldn't see. It would fog up too fast. So I'm just like fighting time and like, come on, man. I know it's safety glass, but like if it's spiders and I can't see, what am I going to do? And like I pulled up, I told the guy, he was like, oh yeah. You're probably fine, but yeah, this weather, man. Like it was brutal. It's been cold and it's going to be like 11 degrees with a foot of snow coming up.
Hey, listen, it's been cold here. Not like that. We've been down in the 30s and stuff, but not quite like that.
No, man, this feels like I'm back in Connecticut. Connecticut's only like 4 hours northeast, but like it stays cold there for a bit. Here, they're ready for cold, but not for this long in a row. And it's wreaking havoc on some infrastructure. So needless to say,
miserable.
To watch the footy this weekend. What do we got? We got some good matches this weekend, yeah?
Arsenal Man United on Sunday.
Oh my gosh, yes. So my daughter and I went to our local Asian supermarket and we got all the crazy snacks that we don't know what they are that just look fun.
Yep.
Because we know it's supposed to snow a ton on Sunday. It's going to be like 11 degrees on Saturday for the high. So we're just like, all right, dude, we got board games ready. Like we got a couple video games. If we lose power, if we get any ice, we got a gas fireplace, natural gas. So we're good there. We get the board games. And we just went through and got and she got this one thing. I have no idea. I think it's from Thailand, but it's an Oreo. But the Oreos are, this podcast is deviated now, but it is an Oreo cookie the size of a moon pie.
Yeah.
If I say that, okay.
Yeah.
but it's not hard. It's like puffy, like a whoopie pie, if you know, from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I've seen those.
But it's
before.
like a strawberry one. It's like they're called, but we don't know what it says. And I didn't take out the. I was like, we're not going to translate it in the store. With like, we're going to pick at home after we try them. Then we're gonna. But we got crazy grilled seaweed rolls, and like we just got all this weird stuff to be like, all right, weird stuff I'm not used to. But like just to some fun sodas and crazy stuff. I'm like, I don't know what that's going to taste like. Let's see what it is just to try and go, please don't lose power. Would like to watch some footy this weekend because I don't think we're doing anything else. I will tell you, my neighborhood, we all had our Christmas decorations up the week longer than we should have because the weekend, like that like January 5th or 6th time, the wind chill got to 7. And everyone on the Saturdays, everybody went, screw it. So nobody touched their decorations. They all stayed up an extra week. And then the following weekend, we all took them down. It was very fun. No one discussed it. Anyway, it's just been cold. Here's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's been flipping cold, man.
That sounds miserable.
But you know what's not cold? That score line for Manchester United. So just in case you haven't heard since the last time we potted, Manchester United sacked another manager in Ruben Amorim. Had a caretaker manager and former player assistant Darren Fletcher take charge, and then just a week ago announced the signing of another former player and Michael Carrick as the returning interim manager of United until the end of the season. And what did Carrick do in his first match in charge? Only beat the socks off of their stinking noisy neighbors in Manchester City via a 2-0 scoreline in front of a happy Sir Alex and a returning loud Old Trafford. Let's see. Mabueno, fresh back from AFCON, tallied the first of the game in the 65th minute off a quick counter from a City corner, while 11 minutes later, Patrick Dorgu got his second goal for Man United and second in the game, 2 post hit, and 3 close offside goals called back, and it was pretty much all Manchester United in this match. I mean, easily could have been like 4-0. Manchester is red once more. And again, we ask, can Michael Carrick do a job to get them in the Champions League football season? So, I mean, I guess because we kind of missed a little bit. Do you feel like the Amorim? I know so much news. It actually hasn't been like, it feels like 2 months since we potted.
I think
but it feels.
Did we? Because we reported on.
Yes.
We recorded on New Year's Day, so that was so. Yeah, so it's been 2-3 weeks now. Yeah, so it's been a bit. Okay.
We had the shock of that day.
Yep.
No, wait. Was that Maresca?
We did, because Maresca got sacked on New Year's Day, right?
Right.
Look at the calendar real quick.
Yep. Maresca was New Year's. Where was Amorim at?
New Year's, it was that following week. So New Year's Day, they had a match. They had a match.
January 5th was his day that he was canned.
Was that Monday they had a match?
Yep, Monday, January 5th, he was canned. I think you had a match on Sunday, canned on
We had a
Monday.
match on Sunday, yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, it feels like a month of headlines happened, though, in the in-between. I mean, we didn't get to ask, how do you feel about that before we ask about Michael Carrick?
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it in the respect that they gave him a chance. They gave him players, and yes, while there was a improvement on a lot of stats, like your XG stats and your chances stats and your shots chance, those results still weren't coming in.
Yeah.
And there was still not a made you feel good inside when a team played, that it was organized, that players knew what they were doing, that it was done in a calm manner. You saw a lot of that this past weekend, which we'll get to here in a sec. And then also they went through a stretch where United were licking their lips. Come like mid-December, they had a run of like Wolves and Burnley and they just got draws.
So
and some were they scored first and the other team came back and and it didn't feel good. He didn't necessarily look happy or comfortable or I don't want to say engaged because that's not that, but it just didn't seem right. So then when he came out and did that presser after whatever game, he just kind of talked about him being the I was brought in to be the head coach, not the manager, and just kind of slagging the board off a little bit. And, I will continue to do my job and see out
You keep doing that?
my contract. The others need to do their job. It's essentially saying that Omar Barada and Wilcox will do their jobs. So basically talked himself into getting canned. And
I mean, in a way that he knew what he was doing, it doesn't feel like.
Yes. And I don't think it was, it didn't come as a surprise, when that news came. And I want to say it came more as a surprise is that these two teams that are in a Champions League race in the top 6 or 7 at the time, both canned their managers within the course of a week.
When did Amarin start? When did Amarin start?
He had only been in it for a little over a year at that point.
So let me ask.
Yes,
so can I ask?
Because he was hired in 2024. And the first match that he was in charge of, I actually watched it with the Kansas City Man United supporter group when I was there to see the Pride win in 2024. That would have been November 2024. So he was brought in. So it was a little over a year, in charge.
So November 11th, I see it, 2024.
Yep.
So 2024, so a little year and a half. I mean, I guess I just ask from so Arteta came in. When did he come in? Part way through the year, late of 2019.
Yeah, it was like during the pandemic,
or
just before the pandemic or something.
Arsenal came in 8th. It was their worst finish in 25 years. Now they did go on to win the FA Cup and Community Shield immediately following that. So it was like this weird, not as good as they played, but had a couple of trophies out of it.
Emery's team kind of at the time.
And which clearly that team too was not, well, I say Emery's, but it's still a lot of Wenger. I mean,
yeah, but you had your Aubameyangs and you had some of the players that Emery had brought in.
So, I mean, did Emery need more time, or did it not look like he could? I mean, just base that, right? Like they kind of, we are.
To me, I enough was given and not enough shown, right? Not enough in improvement in what your eye sees when you watch games, along with the results, right? You could look at all these stats. You can look at the most chances created and stuff, but they're still not scoring a lot of goals.
So I think maybe
he was hit with the injury bug, and Bruno was out for a bit, and some big players went off to AFCON, and I understand all that. But you're drawing away to Wolves. You're drawing to Burnley. These teams that you could be gaining in the table, and you weren't. And you keep in mind, we lost to Grimsby Town this year. Yeah. Early on in the season. That's after a full summer with the team.
That's true. I will say
you should go down there and beat.
If that had happened, now not that they were I don't even think they were in a European Cup when Arteta came in to do it, but had that something like that happen, that would, it makes a difference. Amarin doesn't seem very flexible,
and he wasn't for the longest time. And then he kind of changed there at the end. But I think it was more because this shit's not working. The players either aren't grasping it, they don't want to learn it, they aren't interested, or just not coming through. And I get it. You didn't have your, but you can't sit there and go, hey, for 4 or 5 games, you didn't have your full squad of players, because Ahmad and Mbeumo are big cogs to what he was trying to do. And yes, Bruno, because he missed some games for the first time ever in his Man United career. But at the same point, you had good enough teams that should have beat Wolves, that should have beat Burnley.
Yeah.
That those were some of his last few matches, right? He had a good enough team that should have gone down there and beat Grimsby Town. They didn't. So you had a lot of things. And yes, with where United is in the table, they cannot afford to not have European games next season. So I think the decision had to be made especially when Amarin talked his way into it. We can cut our losses, get somebody in for 17 games. We are in that fight. We are in that fight to make, at the very least, Europe, right? The goal is ultimately to be in the top 4 and make Champions League, but get into some sort of Europe play. This will be the lowest amount of games Manchester United have played in a single season since 1911. It's 40 games. Guess how many the Premier League has each year? The same number. 38. Which means they're only playing 2 extra games this season. One to the Grimsby Town defeat. That's your 39th. And your other 40th, which was Brighton and Hove, first round or the round 3 of the FA Cup when Darren Fletcher, was in charge. That's it. The rest is Premier League. That is so foreign for what Manchester United supporters, myself, being supporter for 20 plus years has experienced. Some sort, right? Whether it's the Conference League, getting knocked out of the Champions League, after the group stages, whatever it was, this is the lowest amount. Not advancing in the FA Cup, not advancing in the League Cup, getting knocked out in the first chances you get in each of those cups. Not good enough. And Darren Fletcher, who's in charge of the under 18s, I think, was brought in to kind of just be a caretaker until they can get an interim in. They're not going to look at a longer search until the season's end. So that they brought in Fletcher. He was in charge for 2 games. I think he got a draw and a loss. Didn't really look good, but I mean, in fairness, what exactly are you going to do, right? Getting into this weekend, first game out of the gate, Saturday early game, and Michael Carrick's been in the door for 3 or 4 days, right? It was announced, I think, on either Tuesday or Wednesday, took charge. Now, one of the things that I do, Carrick's one of my favorite players that's ever played for Manchester United. Just a proper center mid fielder, not your box to box, not your creative midfielder, but the man can ping a pass, tactically aware, great with the ball at his feet, calm under pressure. And he's brought that instinct to his managerial career. Listen to this, Daddy. He's been in charge of Man United for 4 games so far, right? You remember a few years ago, he was in charge for 3 games.
Right. In
between the Ole and Ralph Rangnick time. So he was essentially the Darren Fletcher of then, if you think about it. But he's beaten Arteta, Pep, Emery, and who was the Chelsea manager at the time? Was it Ancelotti? Was it? No, who was it? It might have been Ancelotti. But he's beaten all 4 of those in 4 games in charge. He beat Pep this go around against Man City. And what was so impressive about this game on Saturday was you knew what the hell they were doing. They looked organized. They looked calm. They looked defensively stout.
Is that the manager bounce where Carrick just lays off and lets them do their thing, or and they have fun, or?
No, I think it's a bit of both, right? You certainly can say it's a manager bounce. You can also say that it was a bounce because we got Mbuemo and Ahmad back, right? But the manager had to make some big calls in this, right? You put back in Maguire instead of Aiden Heaven. Maguire's just coming back off of injury, subbed in one of the Darren Fletcher games. He goes back. You keep Dorgu at that left was it right back spot there, and you keep Shaw. How was it? I'm gonna bring up the damn game now. It was Shaw. I don't think Dorgu played in the back. I'm forgetting somebody. Delo. So you had Delo, Maguire, Martinez, Shaw at the back. You had the first time we've seen it, I think, all season, Casemiro and Mainu playing together and starting as kind of those pivot number 6s. Then you had Bruno in what is easily his best role, right? You're out and out number 10. Creative, great with the ball at his feet, can turn on a dime, can ping a ball, can shoot a ball. He was the match rater at 8.7 is what he got on Fought Him Up. Then you had Ahmad out to the right, and then you had Dorgu, which I'm not the biggest fan of Dorgu, but I'll talk about him more here in a second. Out there on the left, he hit an 8.5 and got a goal in this.
He also, by the way, another footballer with a great Star Wars name.
Oh, 100%.
Total 100%. Star Wars character name.
Yes. And then Embuemo inserted back after AFCON, but playing in that number 9 role. So big call because he dropped Cunha and he dropped not Dominic. I always call him Dominic. Benjamin Sesko, who was a little bit hot. He scored 3 goals under Darren Fletcher. He scored a brace and then
he was out there all of a sudden.
And benched him. But you knew what they were playing. 4-2-3-1. Like that's what Carrick did. But at times it looked like a 4-4-2. When you go back on defense, there's 2 banks of 4. So it morphs a little bit, but it looked like the players knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
It looked organized.
But how do you attribute that to? I mean, them playing for the same person who had an inflexible plan, but he had a plan. So what?
Well, because I think
there's that old adage, though, a manager.
Of these players didn't grow up playing this 3-5-2 or whatever they're starting to play now, right? With your back 3 and you're bombing up wing backs and they morph into midfield and they do all these things, kind of a complicated system. What United played for years under Sir Alex was a 4-4-2.
Right.
And that's what most teams, I want to say, when they're starting playing, it's a back 4, right? You start right there. It's not a back 3, it's not a back 5, it's just a back 4. So right there, you could start off with that. You have 2 pivot midfielders that know their job. You have one of the best who have ever done it in the game in Casemiro, who had a brilliant game in this, even at his old age. You had Kobe Mainoo, who was he out? Was he not? Amarin didn't really seem to think so, but had a great game next to Casemiro. So you play a formation that they're all at least familiar with. So it doesn't take a whole lot for your mind to kind of switch. You could see at times where Dalot was so far up that he didn't get back enough in times. And yes, controversial, you can call it that he didn't get sent off. I will say at first glance, a yellow card was the right call for me. When you slow it down at super slow-mo, it looks horrific. It looks bad.
Yeah, I think in play, though,
it's tough.
Yeah.
VAR just released some of the audios of it between the refs. It makes sense because at first I thought he got the ball and then glanced the player. Looks like he didn't get the ball and still glanced the player. It wasn't like a full-on, but they were kind of deeming this like forceful type challenge. So also within the 10 minutes of the Derby game. So is it reffed a little bit different? If it's like Man United and Burnley, is it called a red, or is the head ref sent over to the monitor to have a look? Maybe. But I think in a Manchester derby with as much, that didn't happen. For whatever reason, we can conjecture about that all day if that's the right thing to do, and the inconsistency of VAR and this, yada, yada, yada. But so I think from making some big calls on the lineup to setting the team up, which gave his team the best chance to win the game. And that's what happened. Do you know who the lowest player rated in this game was?
Who was that?
Erling Haaland.
Oh, yes, he was.
5.9. And that's because the 5'9" Martinez kept him at bay. Haaland has failed to score in every game but one when he's played against Martinez. That's a wild stat.
That is a wild stat.
That 5 foot, what is he? 5'9", I think. Let's see here. They give him 5'10". That's kind, but 5'10" against a 6'4". Sorry, 6'4" Haaland, and he just can't seem to get it. And he got subbed. He got yanked. He got yanked in the 80th. Yep. But United were all over him. Like, despite that kind of red card, and Delo should have been sent off, they were all over him. They, on every stat besides possession, United dominated. Expected goal 2.27 to expected goals of 0.45 for Man City, their lowest.
Well,
in the Premier League era.
That's
11 shots to 7 on target opposed to 1, 6 big chances to none, and oh, by the way, 2 goals to none, which could have been 4 or 5. 2 very clear, very tight but clear offsides earlier, and then and boom, MO on the counter. Just a lovely touch to bring that counter, and then just bolted down, and just how Bruno came down on that counter and played the perfect pass at the perfect time. Looked the defender off and played him in a lovely finish by Mboemo. And then I said I get to Dorgu because I'm not the biggest fan of Dorgu because I don't think he's the best defensively or offensively, but I think he is. He works his socks off. He's a big lad, and he will put in a shift. And he's young.
Yeah.
And his goal was just him beating a Man City player to the ball. That's it. He just wanted it more and got in there and got the goal. It wasn't a great goal. He just got in, got his foot, got a tap on it
did
off
the
the
job.
post in it. But he hustled and he got there. He's like a bull in a China shop half the time, and I get annoyed with him. But he works his socks off every single game, no matter what position he's in. But I think all in all, this gave not only a big boost to United going forward for the last 16 games, but it gave a sense of calm. And it gave a sense of this is how we need to play to win games. Good substitutions, stayed calm throughout. It was nil at half, kept with the plan. And they deserve the win here. Plain and simple.
Well, that brings me to another segue, which is What's Up, Pep? Our new segment of the show. Because you have Man City recently drawing against Brighton. Then they have a 10-1 win in their, what is it? Was it EFL Cup or was it
FA Cup against Exeter?
FA Cup, that's right, FA Cup. Yep. But they've lost to Man United, and then in the Champions League just now recently, they lost 3-1 to Bodo Glimt. Did I say that right? Yeah. What's going on? Also, the top six, nobody won.
Yeah, which is very, very weird. Yeah, we'll get to that. And they just signed some Nenyo, which we haven't talked about. And he was their highest rated player in this game, or one of their highest rated players. And he looked okay, but didn't really have, again, no big chances. A total shot that was kind of a half-assed attempt on goal. He looked, and then the other news is now their back line has been decimated.
They just signed.
They had some young kids at the back line. But the Donnarumma goal for them was outstanding on the day. He was making some saves, and it was early on. Harry Maguire almost scored inside of 2 minutes with a header that came off the crossbar. But Donnarumma made some fantastic saves in this game. One against Ahmad earlier in the game, and then against Bruno as well. But he played well, and they just signed Mark Gahey.
Yeah,
which is a pretty big signing for him. So I don't suspect that this will last long for City. My guess is they might put all their eggs in trying to get the Premier League going forward. But yeah, this past 2 seasons for Pep, you can just tell he's turning the wheels to figure out what's happening. Is it because he lost to Sergio Aguero? Is it because he lost to Kevin De Bruyne? Because he lost to Gundogan? He's lost some of these big players, David Silva over the years, that were these talismans in this team.
Yeah, I mean, as much as like modern a City fan might like Haaland, they'd take Aguero back in a second.
Oh,
right?
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Yes, something going on over there. Definitely a good match for Carrick, but I also think just something's up with Man City right now. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
So following Crystal Palace 2-1 defeat away to Sunderland, and just for your knowledge, Sunderland's, let's see, where are they sitting at right now? They're sitting in 9th. So, is that a terrible loss? But regardless, news breaking the night before: the club captain Mark Gahey is on his way to Man City, as Ferris mentioned. Manager Oliver Glasner didn't mince words about the board and the situation he's in. He's quoted as saying, "Selling our captain one day before a game, I have completely no understanding for this," he told Sky Sports. "We were preparing, and then yesterday at 10:30 a.m., I'm told our captain will be sold. So why not next week? Then we can play at least this game. It makes me really upset today. If your heart gets torn out twice a year with Eze one day before a game in the summer and your captain a day before a game, I don't understand it. I've been in football now more than 30 years. I've not experienced this, not even once. Now it's happened twice within 6 or 7 months." He went on to then say, You've seen we have made no substitutions. Look at the bench, just kids there in our attack. I've said before, we feel we are being abandoned completely." Strong comments. What do you make of Glasner's presser? I mean, dude, he ain't wrong. That Eze and your captain comment. I mean, like, that's...
And he went on to say a few other things, but nothing. That was the most, like, scathing from the interview, and that wasn't, like, taken, like, out of context. Those are straight quotes.
That's just, like, what am I supposed to do? What do you want here?
Mm-hmm. And you have to remember, this comes off the back of they sold Michael Elise a year and a half ago. Before that, right?
And this is a Palace team that just won the FA Cup, and then just got beaten by. Wait, what was this? Damn it! I meant to save the stat. It's like the last team that was that low. That beat a reigning FA Cup champion was them back in like 1910 or 19 something like that. Like, yeah,
we were going to do what it's the FA Cup. We might have to save that until Ron gets back. But yes, that one's absolutely on there, and that didn't help either. In the same respect, though, as you just said, Glasner's not wrong.
No, not at all.
We're just selling things underneath of him as if he has no input, and I get it. They can't. To keep the books and to make kind of the money they have.
But you know who you hang on to build a team is a young, good defender. That's your captain.
Yes.
And they didn't sell him for a ton of money either.
No, but also he would have left for free in the summer. So in that respect, they're kind of forced to sell him.
Sure.
Because they haven't been able to get a deal done or even tried to. I don't know if they've got a deal done or whatnot. But you sell, Eze, who was your main goal scorer for the past year and a half. You sold Michael Essay's partner before that to Byron. Like, it's just anybody good that you get, it's just kind of getting out from under him, and he gets him for a little bit, and then boom, gone. Is that what Palace is? Maybe that's what they have been in kind of years past. But at the same point, it has to be just demoralizing each time.
By the way,
we won the FA Cup. We can go on to do things. We're in Europe, and now you're selling people just left and right of me.
To give a shout out to our buddy Lee Malaby, friend of the pod, Macclesfield FC is one of the clubs his team Darlow plays in the what is it? The North. It's the National North
League South.
They're National League North. Yeah,
or North. Yeah,
a non-league. Am I getting that right? How do we screw this up?
Non-league team.
Yeah.
Once it gets down to the National League, I think it's a non-league.
Yeah, I reached out to him and said, "How do you guys feel about that?" And he said, "Actually, the feeling is everyone's like well deserved. Like the people in that league were pretty pleased." So also a big shout out. His team Darlington is still sitting in 7th in the playoff spots. So I know we got to keep an eye on that. I'm starting to get. I'm starting to get reels and like highlights showing up in my social media feed of him. But I mean, he isn't wrong. Glasner, I mean, everything he said, it's your captain, man. I mean, like you said, he was going to be on a free, but that means the club was completely unable to secure anything. So who's your director of football? Who's managed that? The old equivalent of the general manager type in sort of NFL parlance, but man, I don't know. It's a shame because at the end of the season last year, such a big deal with Crystal Palace, and it was like, wow, man, like look at this, like on the ascension, and now from FA Cup winners to
less 6 months down the road, and this is what happened.
Not only that, dude, at this rate, they're sitting 13th. There's how many games we got left to play? 10.
No, we have more than that.
What was there? 30? No, 38. So we got 16 games left. Yeah. This is a club screaming for a relegation fight next year at the rate they're going.
They might even be in it this year. I think they have too many points for West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves to necessarily catch them, but they could find themselves right there in 17th place where forces become the end of the season if they're not careful enough. And here's the thing. He still has his job.
He does. Not after this year.
And Palace have pretty much come out and say, yeah, he's going to keep his job. Even after these comments. Not like what happened with Amron, who came out and made these comments, sacked. Maresca kind of, not obviously not all about the same things, but basically talking about the board of their clubs in public manner. Those two lost their jobs, no questions asked, but they're sticking by him there. But Glasner has already come out and said, earlier and prior to this match that he's not going to sign again next year. Like he will be gone after his contract ends. So
he's making it clear
looking for a new team come this summer.
And why would he? I guess at this point you might as well keep him and not pay money you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
just hope that
he has enough pride. Well, the thing is, like, he is doing what he can.
Right, exactly.
But he, as he said it, his attacking team's a bunch of teenagers that are sitting in there.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, you sell two players and you have nothing left speaks to the lack of building that team has done, though.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more problems than to just say.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of it too. You know, he came out at the beginning of the season, prior to the season, like, who have we signed? Like, we haven't recruited well. We haven't signed anybody, right? We're not doing what Brighton's doing, or who's the other team? Well, like a Bournemouth's doing. We're not having that same recruit where, hey, we can let Brentford, right? We can let Ivan Toney go. We can let him Boemo go. Well, we have this big lad named Thiago in here that will come in and play. You know, we have these players that are just, we recruit and we bring them in. The Antoine Semenyo, you know, well, who's their backup plan there at Palace now? Yeah, they brought in what's his name, Ben Johnson, Ben Johnson,
and they're not really going to be bringing anybody in January.
Brendan Johnson. Yeah, Palace brought in Brendan Johnson a few days before, but he's been not very good for Tottenham. And is he going to bring what Eze has brought in? I'm not so sure. He certainly can't play a defense, so he's not going to cover that void from Gahey. So we'll see if that's good enough to keep them up. Presume that it barely will, but
I think they're lucky. There's some really crap teams at the bottom.
Sure.
So I don't think they've got anything to worry about with that. I just don't know. I just don't know what they're gonna do. They just seem a hot mess.
They do.
Just a hot mess. Oh, shall we move on to the 2-minute? I almost said 2-minute grill. I think I'm still hungry. The 2-minute drill?
Sure.
All right, let's do this. Where's my sound effects at?
Get them ready.
All right, hit it.
All right, new manager, Liam Rosenier. Is that his name?
Rosenoir? I don't know.
Rosenoir. Oh, Bouger. On a 6.5-year deal, got his first Premier League win in charge as the Blues beat Brentford 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. So, faith in the new manager here?
I think Chelsea always has. I don't care who is managing it. I think beating Brentford is well within the realm of possibility of those people. So, Maresca could have beaten them 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6th and 7th in the table. They're right there next to each other. But with the squad depth of that team, yeah.
So, but how come we don't mention that?
It's a clean sheet, though.
Like, we're not.
That's a positive.
Yeah, but we're not saying that we're like, man, Brentford, holding. I mean, I think it's because after you get to 7th, there is a steep decline. I should be honest, like, the league is odd this season for that. Like, it while 6th through 11th, we'll just say, well, let's even go to 12th at Brighton, only are a 4-point difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way. You know, like you aren't wrong about Brentford, and I'm not knocking Chelsea getting a clean sheet, by the way. And I just, there is something about, if you tell me Chelsea beat Newcastle, sure. If you tell me they beat Sunderland, sure. Everton, sure. None of these, this group,
a big surprise, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going to now. Newcastle is the one that conversely you'd be like, oh, they've lost 3 in a row, but they beat Chelsea 5-1, and that's the kind of crap they'll pull. But it is nice for Chelsea, for them to see like a clean sheet and see the match out well. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough to know just yet.
Time will tell. And the big question: will he even get the time? I mean, Chelsea have sacked more managers over the past few years at this new group, or not new anymore, but the Clear Lake group or whatever.
What did Ron say about one of the players had like 6 or 7 managers at this point, and they haven't even been there that long? Like, yeah.
There was something that we were saying in our chat that United have spent like 65 mil in the past 4 or 5 or the past like 10 seasons or something that that's since Sir Alex left, and it basically equated to like 5 mil a year, where like Chelsea have spent like 400 million in the past 4 seasons alone or something on managers. Like it's I'm grossly but it's like something like 33 to 50 mil a year on managers in the past 4 or 5 seasons. That's just what they are. So will he be given the chance to see out that 6.5-year deal?
No, he's going to get bought out.
Money is probably not.
No, it won't have anything to do with him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even a knock on him or anything like that. But modern Chelsea football, I completely agree. Leeds gets a massive win in extra time over Fulham to move 8 points clear of the relegation zone. With all the teams below them picking up at least a point this weekend, how big of a win was that for Leeds? Man, I tell you,
massive.
I feel like that win, though they're only sitting in 16th, West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves are just so dire. I think that kind of win is the one that I think they're going to be fine. I do think Nottingham runs the chance to F up worse, but I still would be shocked if Forest got leapt by West Ham. How many times here and there for years I kept picking West Ham as one of my teams to finally go down, and they never did it. But this I think might be the one.
Very well might be. But yeah, huge win. They are, what did I say? They are 8 points clear of the relegation zone. That's a good little buffer with 16 games left. So
yep. No, especially with who's below them. I don't know they'll get much higher, but
no,
they don't need to this go round.
Yep.
After all the crap with their managers and stuff, they just need to. Who is the manager now? It's Sean Dice, right?
Who leads?
No. I'm sorry, I was looking at Nottingham Forest. I said with all the changes of Nottingham Forest as managers,
yes,
crap, weird stuff this year. Yeah, but how about that? I just think and go, wait. Yes, because it's been such a wild Rolodex over it.
Sure has been.
Nottingham.
Florian Wirtz scores again for Liverpool, but Burnley get one on the second half as Liverpool draw their 4th league match in a row. They miss out on Gahey and now sit 14 points astray from the top 4. Oh, I'm sorry, from the top, and they sit in 4th currently.
Dude, 14 points between top and
clear
4?
of the top place where they were this time last year. Yep. Will Liverpool hang on to even make Champions League?
That's also a wild stretch from 4th to 1st.
They're on 36 points, plus 4 in 4th, 1 point ahead of Man United, 2 points ahead of Chelsea. But they are 7 points away from Villa in 3rd, and then obviously the 14 away from Arsenal in 1st.
So I guess really that drop off starts in 4th place, doesn't it? I was talking about it. Really starts there.
Yeah, from that big drop off.
So Liverpool is very, I was going to say inconsistent, but actually that's not true. They are consistently mediocre mediocrely good. Is that a word? I mean, they're sitting in top 4.
Yeah.
But like if they're sitting in top 4, but with the stat you just said of the draws, if you told me they were in 8th, I wouldn't be shocked. But they are in the top 4.
Yeah, and well, they're in 4th in the Premier League and 4th in the Champions League table right now. So, yeah, they're mediocrely good. Do they have that spark? Will they have it for the second half of the season to get them any higher, or to very much contend for either the Premier League title or Champions League? I'm not so sure.
It's odd with Man United and Chelsea sitting below them, 2 teams that are extremely inconsistent, but now have new managers. So I think that is the X factor that will determine that, particularly if, say, Man United and Chelsea are going to beat Liverpool in their matches. Maybe that's how they scoot up and drop Liverpool down. I don't, at this point, I wouldn't bet money either way. But I do feel like Man United and Chelsea have an opportunity with new managers to try and ride something out. Yep. It does feel like Liverpool, there does not seem to be anything of like, you know what, though? They could go on a run. I don't really think that is going to matter.
Time will tell. We'll see.
Time will tell. Sorry, my content didn't switch over. Oh, how Spursy it was as Tottenham lose again, this time to Callum Wilson's 93rd minute goal. Heartbreaker for the relegation fodder of West Ham United. Whew. With a win yesterday in the Champions League over Borussia Dortmund, Thomas Frank may be off the hot seat for a bit, but he survived the season. It was my first thought when they won that Champions League game was, man,
dicey.
We're back to like probably going to be out of here. Oh, did a thing that might stretch him out a little bit longer. But they did fire a guy who got them their first cup in forever as well. So, I mean,
they did. That's a very Spursy thing to do. But a little bit like United, right? New manager brought in, had time over the summer. Yes, it's his first year, but their league position, unlike United, has not improved much at all. They finished, 17th in the league last year? They're currently in 14th.
Yeah.
10 points off of relegation. They are closer to relegation than they are the top.
They ended at 17th last year after winning that cup. And then it was like, won the cup, then we're 17th. It was,
yeah. I
don't know that they get that low. But then again, Ferris, I don't like we were just saying, man. It's like, what'd you say? Yes, there were 27 points after 22 games.
Yeah, like the league has not. Yeah, they have some injuries as well, but still, that's just not good enough. 2 draws and 2 losses in their last 4.
What's happening? This is a constant top 6 team, or has been a fighter for that, like, and just like dangerously fading away. Fading away.
Yeah, it's the Villa are kind of the new Tottenham in a way. Newcastle have been better over the years. Sunderland's a surprise. Brentford have been better over the years. So Tottenham's just not consistent. They're just dire. Like,
I think Thomas Frank, if it kind of goes this here and there a good thing, he'll probably finish out the season. I just don't think he'll be back for the following season. That would be my prediction.
Yeah. I'd be honest with you, I'd be surprised if he makes it to the end of the season.
It's Spurs, though. It's so hard to know.
Yeah.
It's so hard to know.
Very true. Arsenal miss out going 9 points clear, but gain another point in a 0-0 draw, this time against Nottingham Forest. With no other team in the top 4 getting a win this weekend, will this at all come back to bite Arsenal in the end?
Talk about a draw that felt like a loss and then went, oh, wait, never mind. It's a draw that feels like a win after the weekend finished. We'll take
Man
the point.
City lost. We'll talk about Villa here in a second. They lost. Liverpool, we talked about them. They drew. It wasn't until you get to Man United and Chelsea in 5th and 6th that got wins anywhere in the top 6 this weekend.
So, frustrating. Sean Dyche, though, always been a problem for Arsenal. I'll say this too. amazing save in that match to keep Arsenal from winning that game.
Yeah.
That could have easily been another one because Arsenal's had a ton of 1-0 score victories. That save was world class, and that was the match. That's why you want a good goalkeeper, right? That was the match right there. I will say this, and forgive me, do you really get much in the? Well, you're going to do a round of 7 update, but Arsenal beat Inter 3-1.
Yeah.
And it was interesting reading the commentary because I was like, oh man, you know what? Like, this is really fun to watch. Like Arsenal's playing. And then I think it was on the CBS Galazo or whatever that show's called with Thierry Henry and all those guys. Inter needed to win, so they went for it. Right? And it opened up play. So it was this back and forth fun game. These games like this, like right now, it feels like everybody in the Premier League is playing Arsenal at a 0-4-6 formation. You know, and it just like go right to the back and just park that bus and don't, you know. And look, Inter tried to play open and it burned them. So I mean, I don't it's like comment about, you know, like you know, the long balls and stuff and everything, but at the same token that it's happening based on how they're being played, and Nottingham just set up well, and Dice has always been a tricky manager for Arsenal to deal with. So
they have been, yeah. It's Arsenal are 7 points clear right now. 16 games left, so a lot can still happen. But man, if y'all don't pull out the league this year, there is no better time to pull it out. That would be that would not be good.
It's wild because it's the reverse of the last few years where it's like, oh, Man City drew. Oh God, of course we couldn't win our game or what. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the reverse right now that's happening, which feels weird to be sitting in.
You guys are on the other side of the coin.
Saw an interview with Tom Hiddleston. I didn't know he was an Arsenal fan. He was on this soccer show, and they're like, "How's this an Arsenal fan right now? Is it tense?" Because he was like, yes, I know exactly what you're going to say. And you would think like, yeah, but instead I'm like, and that is a bit how it feels. Yeah.
Not until the end of game 38 there.
I like that we have Anne Hathaway and we got Catwoman and Loki over Arsenal.
We got Julia Roberts.
Yeah, that's right.
And Sir Gary Oldman.
Oh, that's right. Sir Gary Oldman. Forgot about that. Yeah, frustrating, but yeah, I'll take a point. I think this is going to go down. It might not go to the last day, but this is going to go down to the end. I do believe
it might do.
And and it could be Man United and Chelsea that F up that for the teams above them. So that those last few days,
we just played Man City. We play Arsenal this week. Who knows? Like both of these games, I don't think any United fan was expecting to win, especially with a new manager in charge. So to win Man City, we're already kind of playing with house money, or Carrick's kind of playing with house money. A derby win on his first game, and then a clean sheet and a 2-0 dominating performance over that blue side of Manchester. You got a little bit of house credit there. So if we lose, as long as we don't lose to Arsenal in like a really like 7-0 type way, it could be okay.
Well, and
either way, he's going to see out to no matter kind of what happens, he's going to see out.
And if you're managing, if you're Arteta and your Pep, all of a sudden Man United and Chelsea are different, very different things because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So it does. I mean, that manager bounce, it isn't like it's some miracle thing where, oh, it's new. No, it
happens.
Other teams change how they're going to play, or they don't know.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk about. Actually, I'm going to steal your next. So we won't talk about it long, but we talk about it. Wolves. They just gained another point. They have 3 wins no, I'm sorry.
Shall I blow the whistle and get us there?
Sure. Well, no. Yes.
Yeah. Take us on.
Yeah. Well, they. All I was going to say is they got a draw, but they got their third draw in 4, and they've won the other one. So the Rob Edwards the handsome Rob Edwards coming in has made a change. That manager bump has changed them a little bit. Yes, they still remain 14 points clear of safety, while Newcastle somehow are all the way up to 8th, and that's it. We're moving on.
Yep, but you're right. It does. It changes things. People don't know how to play them. Does that mean I'm doing this one? All right.
Yeah, go.
Villa miss out to move within 4 points of Arsenal. Speaking of the last couple of talking points, as they lose their match at home against since August, against the stingy Everton. This was a solid upset. I feel like first blip.
Moyes masterclass in this one.
Yeah, a first blip for Villa in a while. Will they regroup to close the gap? Okay,
it's the game at home. With others dropping, because this is played on Sunday too, right?
So when you're punching above your weight, and that's not me knocking Villa. I mean, I don't think any Villa fan expects him to be right here. So is this the start of when a club that's punching against its weight starts to get tired? It starts to,
might do.
You know,
because they're playing in the Champions League as well.
Yep.
Might do, yeah.
And they don't have the benches of Man City and Arsenal to do this with.
Nope.
So
in fact, they just loaned Donnie Malin to Roma, and he would come in and score goals for him.
That kind of surprised you? I was surprised at that. Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. Wait, are they in Champions League? Or are they in?
Or is it the Europa?
The Europa League. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Or is it?
But either way, they're still in Europe. I think they play tomorrow, actually.
But yeah, I don't know. This could be. I mean, and you could start to see them fade away, and it becomes more of a two horse race. They've certainly been good. They're beatable. I mean, everybody on this Premier League season is. Overall, good defenses are winning. It's that thing. Defense wins championships, as they would say in old NFL footage, or those old. You remember those after the season was over, and it'd be like on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. You like the history of whatever, and it does feel like that is a. I wonder if that's a phase we're going to go into a little bit here with the Premier League, but I could see Aston Villa staying in the top 4, and they stand a chance to be more consistent than Liverpool, I will say. At this point, if you wanted me to give you money on who stays in the top 4, I might.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's going to be tough. I think that the next 8 games. So when we get to match week 30, I think that's going to be we're going to have a real understanding of where everyone's at that point. Because with only 8 games to remain, that we're going to go through a lot of games. We're going to go through European games. We're going to go through an international break through that point. So at the end of the next 8 games, and we get to like at the end of match week 30, I think that's going to be the real kind of teller where we're at and how far people away and the trends they've been on here now. With maybe some of these, Villa, they've drawn and lost their last. Liverpool have drawn the last 4. Man City has drawn and lost their last 4. Kind of see where they're at. Arsenal have drawn their last 2 in the league, so it's going to kind of really, I think it's really going to kind of iron some things out here in the next 8 games, and that's going to be a real kind of teller of, did Villa fall off? Did Liverpool get better? Where's Man United now? Where's Chelsea now? Is Pep's, where's his team at? Where's Arsenal at? I think it's going to be a real teller here over the next several weeks as we see it. Plus, we have FA Cup games during that time too, so it's a lot happening here in the next 8 games. That's going to
getting tighter on the Champions League.
Thin the herd, I should say.
Yes.
And finally, no more Semenyo, as we said earlier. It's for the first time, and Bournemouth could only draw with Brighton. But you know what? The highlight of this and how they drew was a lovely bicycle kick in like the 91st minute of play by
Stoulis?
I'm going to butcher his name here. Karalampos Kostalos. Kostalos. Karalampos Kostalos. Sounds okay?
That sounds right.
Yeah, sure. We're going to go with it. But a brilliant, just like from the penalty spot, bicycle kick for a lovely goal in the 91st minute of play, and that drew it up. Did you really expect anything other than a 1-1 draw from these two teams?
No, not
like
really.
a draw? I didn't really either. And this was a Monday night game, so it's kind of like, yeah, I don't say it was an afterthought to what was the weekend, but it kind of felt like it. And a 1-1 game. All right, we move on.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way. And now we come to the halftime whistle, where it's time for Ferris's I'm making this up as I go news story. Is this going to be the news story you guys mentioned earlier I hadn't had a chance to look at yet?
Yes.
All right, good. Fill me in.
I will. Before I do, though, I'm going to do my second beer of the night, and this is going to be from Canada, again, as I had said, but from a different brewery we've had on the pod before, and the hat that I'm wearing right now, Four Fathers Brewing in Canada, Ontario. Man, it's just such a good brewery. It is a beer for the Kitchen Rangers. What is that an AHL team? Some AHL team. And it says #BattleBuilt. And it is called Kitchen Rangers, the Starter IPA. Four Fathers Brewing Company here. Showing you, Blake.
I dig the way that looks. Oh, that's like an old school Rangers helmet too.
Yeah. From Cambridge, Ontario here. I was trying to pull it up, but I can't really see them. So you can go to fourfathersbrewing.ca. Again, it is an IPA. It is a, listen to this though, a session IPA, 4.8% alcohol by volume. So I'm sticking at 2 4.8s, one a lager, another IPA. Remember how we thought we were going to like peel back my teeth with this IPA? Yeah. I didn't fully read the side of it to see it's a session IPA. All the craze at the current moment, it seems like. These are very light IPAs. No more of your 7%ers, or at least, you're seeing a lot more of these. But anyways, Four Fathers Brewing Cambridge. You can head over to fourfathersbrewing.ca. And this is the Kitchen Rangers, or for a beer for the Kitchen Rangers, and it's the Starter IPA.
That sounds quite tasty.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of glad it's like a 4.8%er. I'm not going to, it's 11 o'clock at night here, so I don't want to be up all night. Oh, look how light this thing is. Man, it pours almost like it's a lager.
I'll just say that does not look like a, that doesn't look like one at all.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't look like an IPA at all.
Or it's like
very much
Pilsner almost.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's because it tastes like a light IPA. Not like a light lager. It tastes like a light IPA. Like a lighter version of an IPA.
Like it's truly a session.
Yeah. Man, that's wild. It's still packed with hops. I mean, you can just taste the hops, and I can't seem to bring up the beer on their site here, or else I try to see what kind of hops it was in. But yeah, fantastic. Oh, darn good. All right. Take us to this kind of halftime break here as I enjoy this beer. But I don't know if you saw today, Blake, and clearly you didn't. But there was a crazy story that kind of caught my eye early this morning, and it just got published.
And this dealt with our original Orlando City MLS coach, who went from minor to league to MLS.
Adrian Heath. Yeah, all right. So it is from, you can head over. Yep. Head over to the nytimes.com, the Athletic, and I want to give credit here to Paul Tintonario, a very established writer, not only for the Athletic, but if you've read anything or watched anything with the MLS, he has a big hand in U.S. soccer. But what caught my eye was the headline of this article: "The extraordinary story of a soccer coach, a kidnapping, and a Saudi job that didn't exist." And you're like, what? So then I click on it. I'm like, that's Adrian Heath. That's our former coach here in Orlando City.
Yeah, we used to watch that guy get pints downtown after. No, actually, he get the cold white wine. We're drinking beers. Yeah,
he was the first manager for us, correct?
Yes. Yeah, he was. He managed the club when they won their championship in the minor league, right? And then went with them into the MLS.
Yep. And a former Everton player, and then when he left us, a season or two later, he went to Minnesota United.
He was the most expensive player, it says. Everton signed in at the time in 1982.
Yep. So, man, it is crazy. I let you read the article, but I'll kind of just summarize it here. So it occurred back in 2004 or 2024. So only a few years ago, but the story's just now starting to come out because they still have been, and they've been they've been dealing with the U.S. authorities and the U.K. authorities on this matter, so they can't quite say all the details to it. So it's kind of the first time the story's really come alive. But basically the story he tells is shortly after his sacking from Minnesota United, he gets a call from a respected agent in their circle, right? Respected agent that's talking to him about a job in Saudi Arabia. Now, if you remember back a few years ago, that's when Saudi Arabia was really starting to kick up their league, right? They're getting big players, they're getting big name managers. They're really kind of enticing. They're paying a great deal. So you're like, well, how can he be kind of duped here? But he goes on and says that he had multiple conversations. He had conversations on speakerphone with his wife, Jane, about this with this agent multiple times. It kind of went cold there for a bit. But then when it came in the summer of 2024, it was a UK-based agent, which was asking him, for this job opening. They had talked multiple times. Everything seemed normal on how these things would go about, from like a manager trying to find a new job, with an agent. They said, hey, we want to fly you out there. However, we're going to fly you to Morocco because this is where this owner. So it was an unnamed Saudi team, and really unnamed to him. And the sheikh was going to bring him out, and one of the owners of the Saudi Arabia club wanted to meet him. And with the agent said that they had properties in Morocco. So why don't we fly you to Morocco, put you up in this 5-star hotel? The coach and whatnot is one of his hotels that he owns, and you guys can meet there and talk more. So he's like, okay. Well, he gets there, and again, there was no red flags or anything. So he got a flight to Tangier via Manchester, landed in Morocco on the evening of November 18th, 2004. 2 men were there to greet him at the airport. They handed him flowers and then ushered him into a black 4-door sedan and set off for the hotel. Except they didn't go to the hotel. About 40 minutes later, they turned off a main highway. He's then, again, I'm not going to share all the articles because please go and read this. Get a subscription to the Athletic. I know it's not cheap, believe me, but it's worth it for articles like this. This is a wonderful article and a great story. It reads up just like a spy novel. And I think he's even quoted as saying it's something out of like an episode of Homeland or something. Like, it is wild. But anyways, he I'm going to try to summarize it without trying to ruin too much, but he basically gets ushered to this kind of shady part of town in Tangier, and it sits in an apartment room, and was trying to figure out what's going on. And there's a couple different people, and he kind of talks about like a 30-year-old, there's this, that, and the other. And they don't really say a whole lot at first. And they finally get to the point of like, hey, here's what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. We want, money, or you're never going to see your wife and your kids again. And they're asking for like a 6-figure amount. They produce a knife to him and basically threaten him to make a phone call to transfer money to him. Again, read the article. The details of how he survived this, how he got home, are pretty something out of like a movie. It involves his wife. It involves his son who used to play for Orlando City.
I forgot that he was. who was married to Kaylin Kyle. I forgot
and
about
how
that.
she played a part in this as well.
Yeah.
It's a wild story. Again, I don't want to ruin the details of this, but please go to The Athletic, read this story from Paul Tenorio. It was just produced today and updated at 6:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I woke up about 8 a.m. and scrolling through the normal newsletters that I do, trying to get caught up. This was even on the soccer one that I read every day, the Athletic FC one that they send out. This is on the main sports one because it's just an incredible story, and that we haven't heard about this up until now is nuts. And they talk about again how they're still working with the FBI and UK authority because it's still an ongoing case. They're trying to figure out who these people are and what's going on. So they don't share a lot of names. They don't share too many specifics, but he was basically kidnapped for about 24 hours. The kidnappers got cold feet, and he returned to I think he had to fly in. He flew somewhere in Europe at first because it was the only ticket he can get, but he just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. And yeah, the story's wild, man. I could see
using
a documentary.
a phone.
I could see something like this. Like, this is wild.
Using to Find My Phone on your iPhone.
Yes,
played a part of this. Like, man,
wild. Please, again.
The fact that he looked at kidnappers and said, "You're not getting any money." It's the bottom line. Yep. I love him even more now.
Again, it's how it came about because he didn't just come out and say that at first.
Yeah, no.
It's how his wife played a part, how Harrison Heath played a part of this. He had a buddy in the FBI, and that's how he got this to the FBI because he coaches like his son's team or something, and one of the parents on there works for the FBI. So it's a wild story. Please go and read this story. Again, the Athletic, Paul Tenorio. The article is the extraordinary story of a soccer coach, a kidnapping, and a Saudi job that didn't exist. Wild. Please go and read it. Out now. Fantastic.
Wow, this is insane. Dude, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy cow. Literally sending this to my wife right now. I mean, like, we not hung out with, but like we hung out at the Harry, was it the Harry Buffalo? Was that what it's called?
It was a Harry Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've met him. I mean, it's just wild. Wild. And again, like, you're like, how can you be duped into this? Read the story. Because it's how, and you guys, everybody knows now, right? Everybody has a phone, scammers, and how careful you have to be with your stuff. But the technology, the people that want to steal things from you, your life.
How easy it is to mimic.
Money, how easy it is.
A situation that they understood.
Right?
Yeah.
That we're very understanding, and how maybe agents were paid for this. It's again, there's not a lot of names and those type of details involved because it's still an ongoing.
Were the agents involved with it, or were the agents thinking they were sending someone to a legitimate offer?
That's what I think it says. Something about. Trying to quickly kind of scroll through, but something about how, because the agent was known in these circles, and how they may or may not have had a part. That hasn't been established yet, or it's not being released yet on exactly who that is or what part, if they work for like a agency type company that just help to see managers into jobs and that sort of thing. It doesn't give specifics on that note because again, it's still ongoing. But it basically says, hey, listen, we didn't think this was a scam because everything seemed normal in the process. You got to remember, this guy's been at 3 or 4 different clubs, right? We just talked about how he was a player, so he's been in the industry for a long time. In this industry, was a manager at a few different places. Landed with Orlando City, went to Minnesota, so he's been through a few different coaching changes at this point. Right, I think he was Stoke City manager for a while.
Yeah, Stoke.
That up. Yeah. So like he's worked overseas and been a manager.
Because Stoke is how he got the gig to do the club in Austin. Then that club moved from Austin to Orlando, became Orlando City, and then went to yeah.
So it's he goes on, and his wife. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary with how these things happened at first. So because it's an ongoing investigation, a lot of these details, I'm sure, are still trying to be figured out, even 2 years on. Of, did this agent know? How did this work? Where was it at? Was he duped? Was the agent on the other side duped? Well, who knows? I don't think we've seen the end of this story. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Netflix docuseries or documentary about this or something down the line, because the story is just too crazy right now. Like it's wild. So it's a good read. It took me about 15, 20 to read it, because I just was like so invested. I also was doing the whole like one eye open as I was trying to get up from the sleep and brightness of your phone. But no, fantastic. Again, the Athletic, Paul Tenorio, very well done. Head over there now and please read this.
Well, for news you pulled out of your butt last minute, that was actually a big one. So we need to push on through this as we move on to the La Liga's roundup. Take us home, Ferris.
Cool, man. We'll kind of quickly get through this. The Champions League, round 7. The champions. Oh, the pipes are warmed up now. That's taking place the past 2 days, because, again, we're recording this on Wednesday the 21st. It's the end of round 7. As Blake said earlier, Bodo Glimt, probably the surprise of the round. 3-1 over Man City. Man City came out today and said they will cover
some of the
gate
players
charge of the supporters that went and
it wasn't like 3 or 4 players that decided to do that or something.
Something like, they just came out and they're gonna do it. This is a team in the Arctic Circle of Norway, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, 'tis from the Arctic. They said, "Hey, Holland, we remember you."
Yes, exactly. Another big result that same day: Napoli won. FC Copenhagen won. Copenhagen kept Napoli, who's been on a tear. Scott McTominay scored again, though. God, man, he had a great interview with the Paramount Plus crew there. He's one that hurts. Me and Phil were talking about this. Phil happened to be in town this past week. I'm talking about this. Like, out of all the players that have come and gone at Man United, it's the United lads that just hurt, like the McTominay, the Rashfords, like the Anthonys and Sanchos and yada, yada, yada. Who cares? But, man, he's been brilliant for Napoli. Absolutely brilliant. But, yeah, they can only muster a 1-1 draw. Blake talked earlier about that 3-1 pretty big win over Inter, especially not at the Emirates. This was at Inter. So, big win on the road. Bayer Leverkusen was beat 2-0 by Olympiacos. Real Madrid kind of got back on winning ways as Mbappe went back to his former club of Monaco. 6-1 win. He bagged himself a brace. Vicinius got on the goal sheet, as did Bellingham. Another surprise, Sporting out of Portugal. 2-1 winners over Paris Saint-Germain. The cup holders right now. 2-1 win. Wow. Goal in the 90th minute secured that. Tottenham, 2-0 winners over Dortmund. Like, God bless it. Seriously, Dortmund. However, there was, it was 1-0 at the time, but then there was a red card in the 24th for Dortmund, so kind of struggled there. Solanke got on the goal sheet for them. He's been injured a majority of the year, so for him to get a goal, I bet helps a long, long way in that. But they were 2-0 winners again over my Borussia Dortmund. Ajax, 2-1 winners over Villarreal. And then today, 1-1 Galatasaray and Atletico Madrid, 2-2 to Karabakh and Eintracht Frankfurt, 3-2 Athletic Club over Atalanta. That's a pretty good win from Athletic Club there. And not necessarily that Atalanta has been all that great in Italy this year, but they're still a top team. Bayern made sure to get the job done, 2-0 winners over Union Saint-Gilloise. Chelsea got the job done 1-0 over Paphos FC. Who was the goal scorer for Chelsea? I didn't see that one. Casado in the 78th minute. Dominated possession, expected goals, total shots, big chances, all that stuff that you would expect them to win, especially there at the bridge. Juventus 2-0 winners over Benfica. And then Liverpool, we were just talking about them, when they kind of get back on the train. Oh, Weston McKennie, by the way, scored the second there for Juventus against Benfica. So he's like a Champions League goal scorer for them. And he's bagged himself a bunch in the Champions League as a kind of like a center midfielder, box to box type, like a Scott McTominay almost. Like he's been good for them. But Liverpool 3-0 winners over Marseille at the Velodrome too, so away in France. Just got it done. Didn't have the most possession, total shots, all of that, but yeah, they Gakpo goal in that, Solanke goal again from a direct free kick, and then an own goal was kind of did them in, but Liverpool 3-0 winners. Newcastle United 3-0 winners over PSV Eindhoven. And then Barca 4-2 over Slavia Prague. So where does that put us in the table? Because remember, no more groups. This is the table. Arsenal top the table. They are 7-0-0. Only conceded 2 goals in the Champions League, plus 18 on 21 points. They sit 3 points ahead of Bayern in second on 18 points. Bayern have only lost 1. Then you have Real Madrid and Liverpool, which round out your top 4, both on 15 points. Tottenham, PSG, Newcastle, and Chelsea. It's a whole slew of just English clubs there. Round out your top 8. Your top 8, if you remember from this league table, is your automatic qualifiers. No play-in games. They basically get a first-round bye, if you will. From there, that's on 13 points. Also in 13 points, you have another slew of teams. But from 9th through 13th, all on 13 points, you have Barcelona, Sporting, Man City, Atletico Madrid, and Atalanta. And then it goes from 12 to 8 between 14th and 24. But you have Inter, Juve, Dortmund, Galatasaray, Karabakh, Marseille, Bayern Leverkusen, Monaco, Eindhoven, Athletic Club, and Olympiacos, which cover out your top 24. Your top 24 out of 36 teams are the ones that all advance to the next round, with 9 through 24 being your play-in games in the next round. So some big names that you have currently sitting on the outside looking in. Napoli, tied on points with Olympiacos, Eindhoven, Athletic Club, but they have Chelsea next up. So they have some work to do in that. Another big team, probably Benfica is a little bit surprised that they're down there. They have Real Madrid coming up, and then Eintracht Frankfurt, who have Tottenham coming up. Those are probably your big teams that a little bit of surprise. Ajax even a little bit of surprise, but they've won 2 in a row, so they may be on to something. But you're going to see changes probably a lot there between, I'd probably say from Karabakh down. Galatasaray, Dortmund, Juventus, Inter, they should all be okay to still be in those play-in teams. But will Man City, who currently sit in 11th, yes, tied on points with like PSG and Newcastle, will they once again have to play a play-in game where they had to play last year? I believe they lost that game, if I'm not mistaken. Will they have to play another play-in game, or will they make that automatic top 8 qualifiers? That is the question.
And those play-in games will come in that'll affect the Premier League as well.
Yes.
Because that's another extra game that they've got to play.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Lastly, we'll end it here. I don't know if you guys saw over the weekend, but the AFCON final. Wild. Absolutely wild. So Morocco, the aforementioned, they were the host city in this. Number 8th in the world ranked FIFA rank. They were the favorites to win, and they came up against Senegal. A Sadio Mane Senegal. And guess who won? Senegal. After extra time, in a 94th minute goal by Papa Guinea, a 26-year-old center mid from currently plays at I just had it. Villarreal scored, and that was the lone goal. However, it was the game as a whole and what led up to playing in extra time. So if you did not see, go to YouTube, go to look at the match recap, go to wherever you kind of can. But what wild game.
I think the thing that, like, from a soccer rules perspective is, I know it went nuts, but when the head coach of Senegal ordered the players off the pitch, brought a 16-minute delay, how, like, why isn't that a forfeit?
Well, so towards the end of the game, right? A controversial, if you will, penalty was called for Morocco. Mind you, they're the host country, right?
Yeah, Senegal had a goal disallowed, and then they gave a penalty to Morocco.
Yes, and it was kind of like, okay, is this really worth giving a goal for? It was off a corner, and they were kind of just jostling, and it was a VAR check, and they went to look, and it's kind of that kind of, and mind you, everybody's gathered around.
Ball boys are fighting the goalkeeper. Like,
you put the VAR screen in between the two benches. Why would you do that?
In most that's teams, true.
It's across the other side of the pitch, or it's down by a goal. It's not in between the two benches. So you had them swarmed. So they being Senegal were so mad. And the head coach was like, hey, just we're going to leave the pitch and protest. This is absolutely absurd. It was a terrible call, even a terrible VAR call. It was not a lot, in it at all. So then Sadio Mane kind of be like, no, guys, come on. We have to go and play the rest of this game. We have to see out this game kind of no matter the result, right? He's the one with the calmer head there and going, we have to actually see it out. So up steps the Morocco captain, if I'm not mistaken, in this. And this is, mind you, this was a multi-delay. So it happened in like the 94th minute. We're in the 113th minute when the penalty took place. So he steps up and he tries a Panenka. And the thing about a Panenka, looks cheeky, looks brilliant, looks great if you pull it off. If you miss it and they get saved, it looks terrible. It looks just absolutely terrible. And that's what happens. He tried the Panenka. It got saved right down the center. So to extra time we went. And it came back to bite Morocco, and the team that was trying to storm off the pitch ended up winning the entire thing in Senegal, beating the host country, beating the favorites 1-0 at the Stade Prince Mali Adala Stadium. Looking at Google Maps here, located in Morocco.
That is just bonkers.
In Rabat. I think I'm saying that right. But yeah, wild. Wild. And here's the thing. Senegal, good team. Not a surprise. You want to know some of the players that play for them? The infamous Nicholas Jackson.
Nicky Jackson.
Nick Jackson. And Dye, currently playing for Everton, has had himself a great year. Sadio Mane, awesome. Lamine Camara plays for Morocco. Idrissa Gana Gueye plays for Everton. Madama Sarr. Moussa Nakate plays for Lyon. Malik Diouf plays for West Ham. And former Chelsea goalie Edward Mendy in goal, plays for Al Hilal. That was kind of a lot of your starting line for Senegal. But yeah, just a wild end to the game. Again, go to YouTube or wherever you can to watch how this game kind of played out. And even the highlights almost don't do it as much justice. But yeah, to try that Panenka in what was the 113th minute. It was only supposed to be a plus 8th made. The team was going to storm off the pitch. Just wild. And then to get kind of done out by a goal that late, absolutely wild. And
then, but again, to just leave with no penalty, the pitch for 16. And I know that's just wild.
And there's been a lot of kind of weird, controversial stuff happening in AFCON. It's very interesting. And mind you, it'll play here in another 2 years, but then after that, it goes to 4 years. They made that announcement at the eve of this tournament that it'll start to play every 4 years, opposite of what the World Cup plays. So that's a big change that will be taking place. But then you had who was it? You had a whole soccer federation that suspended the entire team. So it's Senegal's second AFCON Cup title, but then I'm trying to think. It's a bit. Is it Ivory Coast? Gabon. That's who it was. The government banned the Gabonese players. So you know who plays for them?
Who's that?
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Oh,
the nation, like the governing body, because of the bad performance, suspended the team. The ban was lifted 12 days later following negotiations with the Gabonese Football Federation. Their suspension, including star player Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Bruno Manga, was rescinded for the upcoming qualifiers because it was a disgraceful performance from him. So AFCON is just wild. I know it's kind of hard to watch sometimes over here, but always seems just to be a interesting fireworks occasion every time this tournament is played, and the final was certainly no different. And that has been your La Liga's roundup.
God, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things that went on, we had beer. I shall mention it now. I had from Iyengar the Celebrator. I don't want to call it Celebrator because it sounds fancy that way. But the Celebrator, damn, it's good. Get that. Mm-hmm. Get it.
I had 2 Canadian beers from Cambridge, Ontario. Thank you, Becky, for bringing them back. I had the Holler Lager from Farm League Brewing. Very, very good lager. I did that one so quick, so I just had to do the second one. Second one being from Four Fathers. Just an awesome brewery, great beers. Awesome hat too that I'm wearing. From them, the Kitchener Rangers, the Starter IPA, a beer they do with a local hockey club there. #BattleBuilt.
That wraps us up. Almost. Unless Ferris has got a Zlatan inspired quote.
I don't, but I have a quote from one of the things we talked about on this pod.
Hit it.
Adrian Heath is quoted as saying, "It's like a movie or an episode of Homeland or something."
That's
how wild this story is. So again, go and read that article.
That story is insane. Currently, I think the Athletics were, because he did an exclusive interview in December, it looks like.
Yes.
Follow us. Go to thebrewtifulgame.com. Have you listen to us. Leave a rating review. Tell your friends about us. Check us out on Untapped.
Grandmas love us.
Grandmas absolutely flipping love us. I do want to let you know, Ferris, that as I was laughing and Karen Afton said, "What?" I said, "Look, Loki, Tom Hiddleston. He's an Arsenal fan. I didn't know it." To go back to that Arsenal interview, soccer pod interview I was telling you about. And my kid looks at it and she goes, "Oh, that's cool. He does the same kind of show like you and Uncle Ferris and Uncle Ron do." And I was like, "Yeah, but we started before Tom Hiddleston."
Yeah. We're the OGs here. Far more famous too.
Made my day.
Is Tom Hiddleston? Is he the night manager?
Night manager Loki. Yeah.
Oh man, that show's season 2's back. Fantastic. Awesome.
So instead of ending with a dad joke, I have some help. If anybody would like some pickup lines, I have one for you, Ferris. It's a little dated, but it's a good. Okay. It's good for you.
Hey, listen, I need them in that category.
I came across some. I thought this first one's so cheesy. I want to share it.
Okay.
Let me get my pickup line voice on. Do you have a soccer kit? Because baby, I need your name and number.
Woo!
But
smoking. I like that one.
This one's a little dated, but I do like it. Insert whatever footballer you want. My name must be Ashley Young because I'm falling for you. But I think my favorite, take this one and use it. I don't know.
Hey,
who
my
to
name
work
must
on.
be Chris Smalling because I'm falling for you.
Yeah, exactly. But this one's for you. Baby, it doesn't matter about the others. I'm the one for you.
Oh, I love it. Hugs and kisses one. Oh, that is brilliant.
I saw that and knew that's what I had to do. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
God, I miss them. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United.